Greetings, this is Eduardo Jumbo. In today's tutorial, we're gonna do image rotation capture. I'm trying something a little bit different today in that I am going to split the screen to make it easier for the vertical videos because those seem to be very popular. And also, this will allow me in the future to be able to live stream it from away. Usually I'll just have the laptop, so if I split the screen, I'll be able to have a screen where I'm doing stuff, and you guys will be able to follow along. I think it also make the screencasts, the live screencasts much faster. Okay, with that said, I do a live stream every single day. So you visit ojambo.com, you go to the watch menu and the live sub menu, and for example, today's topic is JavaScript image rotation capture. The channel it's going to be on and the day and time, and these are topics for future live streams. Okay, and then also each of those articles will have a snippet. The top of each article to tell you the exact day and time. It's always going to be Eastern time, and you're free to ask any questions about programming or lifestyle topics. And where you can ask those questions is you click this channel here, you go in, you log in, and you request you post your requests live. If you don't know that, you can watch the video. The video is also embedded in this article. Scroll down a little bit and you'll see the video. And with that said, please subscribe, like, follow, and leave comments for more frequent content. Okay, so I got inspired to make this tutorial by TikTok. TikTok has this image capture where it rotates. Basically, it splits an image and then in a circular way, and then you have to rotate until when they match, then the capture, then you'll be allowed in. I like that because it's a fun way. Like I remember the old captures where they would have an image, I think it's capture 2 or recapture 2, where they would show images like how many bicycles or click on a bicycle. That's very annoying. So, and it's usually, you know, it's a high failure rate. So I do like what TikTok does. Also, sometimes if you have a sensitive, like I have a trackball mouse, it's a little bit sensitive, but I do like it. It's a nice take on something old. So we're gonna kind of we're gonna mimic that in a simple way. As you can see here in this screenshot, I took Tux Penguin and I took randomly to take one part. It divides it into 4, but you can divide it into several others. I just took one just to make it easy. And basically the concept is you just have to rotate this until until you get Tux full, or any image. This time I'm just going to use Tux. So basically this image rotation capture allows users to rotate a piece of the image back to the correct orientation. Okay, so why CAPTCHA? CAPTCHA stands for Completely Automated Public Turing Test to Tell Computers and Humans Apart. That's literally what the name is. Now you learned something, if you didn't know that. So it presents a challenge that's relatively easy for humans to complete, but difficult for bots to replicate. So basically what we're going to do, as I said before, we're going to split the image. We'll divide it into several pieces. We're just going to divide it into 4. You can rotate one piece and rotate back. And the validation, if it's in the right place, then the capture is resolved successfully. Why use image capture? As I said before, it's user friendliness. I gave you an example of TikTok. It's for security. So if you have applications and sometimes bots will be very annoying, you can implement something like this very, very simply. Now, I also have a form. I'll show you how you can implement this very simply for submit. So basically, you don't allow the form to be submitted until obviously the captcha has been solved. So what you could do is maybe in the background, you could have it so that the form is auto-completed when the capture is done. That's one way to do it. Another way is the submit button only appears after the capture has been has been validated. Or what you can do is as soon as somebody somehow completes the capture, you can send like an AJAX or you fetch or something and have it ready for the form. There are multiple ways to do that. So this is the HTML here. This is the CSS, and this is the JavaScript to do the validator. So basically, we'll do this on the canvas. it's going to be 2D. You can also do 3D. We're just going to do 2D for today. And then you see the screenshots here, and I said I have a simple form. You see if it's not already properly, it will say fail. It's already successfully, it will say successfully, and that's it. And this is the video I promised you. So you see this is a live video. As you can see here, it's live, like literally live. You guys are watching this live in real time. Okay, so I do offer programming help implementation. So if you want to, as I gave you example, for example, if you want to create a custom image rotation capture, if you want to learn about CAPTCHAs, even third-party sources, I can help you with the custom CAPTCHA designs, advanced features, layers of security, and custom rotation angles and multi-step verification, cross-browser support, and backend integration. So you can contact me here. There's a link here. This goes to the blog, the contact page, and this one goes to ojamboservices.com because I have a team together, so we can actually provide you the quote if you want with custom designs. Okay, now with that said, let's actually get started here. I'm going to scroll up a little bit here so you guys can see what I'm doing. So I have a folder. I'm going to show you that folder right now. Oops, I'm in the wrong place. So here it's called CAPTCHA folder. So this is it, and this is Tux, the penguin. So this one I'm going to use. This audio one, we'll do this for a future tutorial. That's why I put it here. Just everything's there. So remember, first thing we did is we did a text capture, and we had it like bend, and then here we have a spin. This is what I'm working on this as well. But I wanted to put up a tutorial today, so that we're just going to work on this file today. But I want to show you this spin one, just briefly. So I'm going to open up here the spin, if this actually does work. Come on. Yeah, so the spin here, and you can see here. See, it says verified when it's upright. So you can pick one maybe here. That's the verified. So you can see. Yeah, so this is another way. You see, when you put it down there, then it says verified. So that's one way to do another type of capture. However, that one could be very easily, a bot could probably take it, a bot will probably detect that. So that's why I decided to do something slightly different, is that we're going to do it here. So let's go back to NetBeans. I'm going to use NetBeans today. I also have a tutorial on NetBeans coming up, NetBeans 26. Watch out for that. It's coming up soon. Okay, so that said, so I just dragged the folder in here for the project. So this is a captcha.html file. So as you can see here, I'm going to zoom in just a little bit so you guys can see better. There we go. And then we have our what is it here? We should have something in here, and we'll do that next. So it's saying it's don't worry about this. It's saying that because I haven't put anything here. I want to put it, it will go away. Okay, so the first thing I'm going to do is we need some we need a form. Actually, we need a body. Oh, the body is the one that's missing. I guess I deleted. I didn't put a body. Okay, that's bad. Oops, spelled body wrong. So body. Okay, so the error, the error message is gone. Okay, so with that, as I said before, we just need a form. I'll give it a class, and I'll call it capture validator. Okay, that's it for form. Yes. Okay, inside our form, I'll just use some h3 tags, and I guess I'll give it a class, and I'll call this one middle because I want it to be centered in the middle. And that's weird. It doesn't pick up the h3 there. I guess it's not used to h3. Okay, so this is going to be form CAPTCHA validator. Okay, I think I can make this a little bit smaller. What? All we care about is this. Okay, there we go. I'm gonna make a div here. And this is going to be the CAPTCHA container. That's spelled right? CAPTCHA. Come on, CAPTCHA container. So this is where the images are going to go. And then down here, we're going to have, I'm going to create another div. And this will be the buttons, CAPTCHA buttons. Okay, inside the buttons, I'll just use inputs. And I'll make that submit. I give it a value. Oh, that's a little bit slow again. Submit. Okay, I'll duplicate this, and this one will become reset. And this will be reset. Reset. Okay. Now, if we take a look at this, so this is our form. That's all that is. Okay. Now let's actually. I'm going to style this. So this is not a styling tutorial. So you style it any way you want. Okay. So this is just styling here. Just put some styles in here. Yeah. So that we see we just style them. Yeah, so you style them any way you want. Okay. If you want to take a quick look at my styles, those are my styles. I just put some padding. I put some. I put this in the middle. So the buttons, all I did was just put padding there, some margin, display block. CAPTCHA buttons, I use display flex box, so display flex, justify space in between. That's why it's left and right. And then for the output, I have. If it passes, it will be green. If it fails, it will be red. So this is that simple. And then obviously the container, it's a grid, and this is the height. I'm using the grid. So columns, rows, and the gap is 2 pixels. I said I'll create dedicated CSS tutorials, but this is just a simple thing. This is not so important, but this is just for just to make it a little bit less boring. Okay, now with that, I'm going to use an output here. There's an output tag. So output. So this output will be if it passes or fails, the message will be put here. Okay, now with that out of the way, let's actually start making our JavaScript. I'll explain this as I do everything. This shouldn't take too long. And I want it to start automatically, so that's how we do it. It's basically a built-in function that runs by itself. So what we need to do here is there's a lot of so what I need to do is I need to grab the CAPTCHA container, this one here, and I need to grab the output because this is where it will go, and obviously the button when where the form is submitted, so the button as well. So what I'll do is so I don't make any mistakes, I'll explain what I'm doing here. Okay, I'll explain this. I have to go a little bit faster. This story will be like several hours. I don't want to take several hours. So I am just grabbing the CAPTCHA container, this one here, the output, which is this one here. So that will be how I said if it passes or fails. And then our image is tux. This guy here, tux. This one here as well. It's in the same folder, tux _05 AVF. So in AVF format. How many rows and columns? So remember I told you can change this to what you want. I'm just going to do 2 rows, 2 columns. So as you can see here, 2 rows, 2 columns. That means it's going to be 2. So if you want more, you can do as many as you want, but this is good enough for me. So the pieces, I'm pretty sure you can guess how many pieces they're going to be. So they're going to be 2 times 2, 4 pieces. 1, 2, 3, 4. Then we're going to rotate them. So we want to rotate them randomly. So we're gonna use the random math random. So it rotated randomly, meaning that it could be down here, 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 all at 360 degrees. So that means a full circle. So it would be rotated somewhere in there. It will be randomly. It might also not rotate it at all. It might actually be at 0. So then it will actually pass, which would be super weird, but it will do that. And then, so when you put your mouse over here, it would do the dragging, so to mimic like left and right. So drag it, and the initial angle will be 0. The current angle, that will be wherever your mouse is. Initial X, initial Y. I'll explain this later when I actually do the code. And the dragged piece is how, and then there's a tolerance. So the tolerance I set to 5. You can fool around with this any way you want. Okay, so next, I'm going to create my first function, and I'm going to call it create pieces. So it's going to basically create these pieces in here. I'm going to copy and paste this so I don't make any mistakes, and because I said it's already been, I don't want to take too much time doing this as well. I'm going to zoom out just a little bit. This will be easier to read. So I create a function called create pieces here, and the piece width and the piece height. So basically, because my this guy is 300 by 300, so what I do is I divide it by the columns. Obviously, it's going to be 2 here, and rows by 2. Hope that makes sense. So because it's width and height, so obviously it's a square. That's why I'm doing this. So now what I should really do is I should base this on, I should actually have created the variables based on the image. We'll probably maybe do that in a future tutorial. Okay, so then what I'm doing, I'm just using a simple for loop. I am going to loop through all the rows and all the columns. I could have used a for each, but that's that's neither here or there. So what I do is, you see, I create a div. Remember, we have a div. This guy up here in our CAPTCHA container. This div up here. So that's where we're going to put the pieces. So we have, see, we add a class called CAPTCHA piece, and then we'll give it a background. So the background will be it just be an image, and then the background position, and then we rotate it. See, we rotate. We actually just use CSS. We rotate it to 0 degrees, and then the data set, because we have rows and columns. So what we do is we save that into a data set. I'll explain this when you actually see it in the HTML, and then when any of those pieces, the mouse goes over. Basically, it's a hover state. It will start the drag. We haven't created the drag function yet. I'll show you that later. And then we append the piece. So this appends it into the container there. And then we push it into an array because we want to detect where what was the last piece, how many pieces we have, and everything. So we keep an array here. And then there's also rotate a random piece. So this is important because after they have been created, we just pick one of those pieces. It could be this one, this one, this one, or this one. We just rotate one of them, and then the person will have, obviously a human, will have to go and pick one. Like in this case, it's the first one, and they rotate it into the place. So it could be this one, or this one. So a bot will not be able to pick that up. Okay, next I am going to create another function. This is the one that actually rotates a random piece. So this rotates a random piece. You see, it selects a piece. Remember, that's why we pushed them into this array. So it will grab one of those pieces. Then it will rotate it itself. And remember, all these pieces by default are not rotated because it's set to 0. I believe, where was that? They were set them to, yes, 0 degrees. You see, rotate them to 0 degrees. So they'll be all of them will be upright or properly, and then we'll just take a random piece and then we'll rotate it. And we're going to use the transform. Again, we'll use CSS or cascading style sheets to rotate it. And that's it. And then in that piece, we also, is data set, we'll put the rotation inside it. Okay, and then we have the start drag. I'll explain that method. So for the start drag, you can see the dragged piece. We get the event. It's a JavaScript, and then we set dragging to true, meaning that it's been dragged. So, and then we get the initial mouse. So obviously, if you're on a desktop, you have a mouse or a touch device. Sorry, no, what do you call that thing? The pad, touchpad, or if you have a touch screen, so that will be mouse. If you're on a mobile device, it will mimic the mouse. So this will also work on a mobile screen as well. And then we get the angle, so we tie the angle to that. Remember, we also have the tolerance. That's what you can fool around with it. And then we prevent the default behavior, because by default, we're using the drag behavior. By default, when you drag it, you'll actually want to drag anywhere you want to go. So we want to prevent the drag behavior. What we care about is simply, because what people are going to do is they're going to click in there, and that's normal behavior. Especially if you're on a phone, you in order to rotate, you have to actually touch it, but you don't want to drag it out of there. And you see, we have event listeners for the mouse move and mouse up. So obviously, when you mouse up, that means you let go of your mouse, it will stop the drag. But if you move your mouse, for example, I click this and drag it this way, then it's going to drag that piece. Okay, next we have one called drag piece. Remember, this is to start the drag, but we need to be able to do something to it. So that's called the drag piece here. It's also an event. The dragging is also, if you're not dragging, it will stop. If obviously that's how we know to stop. And we get the delta X and delta Y. That's from the mouse positions. And we get the angle. So we tie the angle to the delta X and delta Y. That's basically how far you've moved. Obviously, for example, it will make more sense when I'm actually showing you guys the code, but basically, for example, I drag this, I just do a little bit of here, then it'll only turn that much. I've just explained this: the current angle, initial angle plus the angle, and the drag piece will transform, rotate. Again, we're using CSS to actually do the rotation. And the next, we have to get the stop dragging. To stop dragging, we set the is dragging variable to false. We move the event listeners, so the mouse up, we remove them, and then we set it in the data set. I'll show you this again when we actually run it. And the target rotation, because it's rotation are usually in radians, so we basically what I'm saying, it's 0 to 1. So what we have to do is we have to convert that into, we grab it from the dragged data set, and we make it absolute, because when we're doing this with our tolerance, we have to set it that way to make sure it's rotated properly. So basically what I'm saying is that if the person rotated properly, we'll put a green line. See these boxes here, we'll put a green line there, letting them they're doing properly. If it's incorrect, then it'll be red. However, some people this is gonna go over some people's heads. So I came up with something else, and I'll show you that later. Although it's visual, some people will not get it, and because some people might be dragging too fast. So I'll show you what I did. Another trick I added to this. So, and then this is the one that we get the rotation angle. So we use this old function called get computed style. Remember, we're using style sheet, so we have to get the element. It's obviously this transform, and then we use a matrix to split it. Remember, again, I said it's a float, basically decimal numbers. So that's what we do. Then we set the angle. That's simple enough. And then we have this. This is the part I just mentioned. Okay, so here the check code, if it's correct, true, then we check all the pieces, we check the rotation. So the reason we're going to know that the rotation is correct, because remember, if the thing is rotated properly, it won't have a rotation. So then we know it's correct. So what I do instead is, you see here where it says failed or pass. That's why I said that's a little trick, because most people are probably going to miss the color, but they will definitely won't miss, that's the color red and green down here after they hit submit. Okay, and then finally, we're almost done here. Okay, so finally, the form that is, so when you hit the submit button here, we prevent the default behavior. The default behavior is to submit the form. So we prevent the default behavior, then we check the code, this one here, and then we output here. And then when this function runs, we create pieces. So the pieces will be created here. Now, all this code I've just shown you here, it's also here in the, you see rotate image capture validator, just expand it, and you can copy and paste it. So that's it. So I'm going to save this now, and we go back here to our form. If I refresh, you see what happened? It randomly, for example, when I took this screenshot, it picked the first one, but this time because randomly, it picked the second one. Now, I can rotate any of these ones. For example, this one, I can also rotate it. You see? I can also rotate it. You see that? The mouse? Now I have a so yeah, so that's so I have a trackball mouse, so it's very it's not as nice as a regular mouse. Okay, there we go. I think there we go. So that's fine. There's a little tolerance. Remember, we set the tolerance. So if I hit submit now, you see it's going to say failed. So most people are not going to pick this up, but they'll definitely pick this one up. See, it says failed. Now, if I do this properly, that should be good enough. There we go. See, it's also green. So I said most people won't pick that up, but they'll definitely, if I hit submit, now you see it's validated because all of them are now upright in the proper area. Now, I picked tux. I said you can pick any image you want. It should also work. And I said I picked, you remember we picked 2 rows and 2 columns. 1 column, 1 column, and this is 1 row, 1 row. So 2 by 2. But I'm saying you can make it, for example, if I put 4 by 2 or 4 by 4, you could do that as well. But I decided just to do 2 by 2, and I showed you guys where you can change the rows and columns to your height, obviously, and the image as well. So that's it. Now, if this one right here, I'm going to right click on it and I'm going to hit inspect just to show you what happened here. Now, if I think I should be able to zoom in here. Let me zoom in. I should be able to zoom in. Oh, I was pressing the wrong thing. Yeah. So you see here what happens. Each of this is in that CAPTCHA container. What it did is it added the class CAPTCHA piece. Remember this? And you see the data index, data row, data column, and then you see it uses the background rotate, the rotate stuff. And then but you notice, for example, the second piece, it has a data rotation because that I manually rotated it. And this one here, the fourth piece, I believe, 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah, the fourth piece I also rotated. So, you see, that's why it has a data rotation attribute. These two do not. You see, this one doesn't have a data rotation. Sorry, I made a mistake. I apologize. The first one does not have data rotation. The second one, this one, let me put this down just a little bit. Give me a second. So this is the first one. That one doesn't have a data rotation, but the second one, you see, it's rotating. That one has a data. That one has a data rotation attribute, and then the last one also has a data rotation attribute. So it goes 1, 2. It goes 1, 2, 3, 4. So 2 and 4. You see, they do have the data rotation. And then this is the one I pick, and I check to see if it's within the tolerance. If it is within the tolerance, then it passes. Now, if you remember, I use the absolute function. The absolute function is obviously if you're like -5, +5, obviously you're within that tolerance level, and you'd pass. So if you can see the fourth one, its tolerance is -1.70. That's within 5. Now, if you wanna be really more absolute, yeah, you can change it down to maybe even 0 point something. But I said because, for example, I'm using a trackball. Trackball is not very accurate, So that's why I gave it 5, and that's good enough. And I said, obviously, if you have more rows and columns, that'll be up to you. Maybe you can give a higher tolerance level or lower. That's all up to you. So that's it. So that's the tutorial. And as you can see, this one is still spinning because I did not. So if I click it, then it will stop spinning. So let me click it and put it into place. There we go. Click it. Now it will stop. When I move my mouse, it won't follow my mouse. So if I hit submit, it's still validated. Now I said this to 1, 2, 3, 4. So for example, if I hit reset, oh, I think I changed it not to ignore, because once it's validated, it doesn't. So I probably have to refresh. Let me hit it. Yeah, see, refresh. You see, this time it picked the third 1, 2, 3, 4. It picked this one. So if I hit submit, you see it's failed. So what I need to do is I need to click this, and that's good enough. Yeah, and you see it's green. So if I hit submit now, you see it says validated. So that's a little so is this useful for something? It could be a nice captcha. You could think about it. Have you seen a captcha like this before? There you go. So with that, did I show you guys the other captcha? I can't remember. Did I show you guys the spinning captcha? I guess I did not. Let me actually show you quickly the spinning captcha. I don't know if I showed this guys to you. Maybe if I forgot. Okay, so here's another one. Watch what happens here. You see it says verified. So that's another take on it. You see? Yeah, so that's another take on it. So there you go. All right, let's get out of here. So this is NetBeans. We don't need NetBeans anymore. And that's, yeah, so that's, actually I should probably put something here. Okay, so let's finish this up. So as I said, I promised, I explained this. Quick reminder that every day I host a live stream. You visit ojambo.com, you go to the watch menu, then the live sub menu. You can see the topics for this and future live streams. Each of them will have the channel it's going to be on and the day and time. Remember, it's always going to be Eastern time. And be sure to subscribe, like, follow, and leave comments for more frequent content if you enjoy this, because that helps me and it encourages me to produce more tutorials. If you guys have any requests, let me know. I'm happy if it's JavaScript, Python, Blender, obviously PHP, or if you want me to review something, let me know. I'll be happy to do that. And I also offer programming help for implementation. For example, if you want your own image rotation captcha or any other type of capture, as I said before, I do custom capture designs, advanced features, cross-browser support. When I say cross-browser, I'm not just talking about the desktop operating system. I'm obviously talking about some mobile as well. Also back-end integrations. So you can contact me here on ojambo.com, just ojambo.com/contact. You can see down here all personalized code. You go to ojamboservices.com and /contact. Okay, now with that out of the way, I am not seeing any chat requests today. So I'm going to stop this live stream, and I hope to see you guys tomorrow in the next live stream. And I hope you guys have a nice day and a great weekend. See you tomorrow. Okay.